Hello and welcome to Blank Plate, a podcast for Swifties with an appetite.
I'm Sara, and I used to be a little kid with glasses in a twin-size bed.
I'm Laura, and I'm a mess, but I'm the mess that you wanted.
And we've got a blank plate, baby, and we'll write your name.
Woohoo! We have a guest today!
We also have a guest today. Our friend Rebecca is joining us.
My tagline would be, have you heard about the girl who lives in delusion? It's Rebecca. That's my blank plate tagline.
Yeah,
I love it. That. We should ask all of our guests what their tagline is. Like,
yeah,
there's Real Housewife taglines. There should be a tagline for us. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Rebecca
Welcome.
you're probably like the first true Swiftie person I ever knew. Like, as I was getting into Taylor, I think you were probably the first person I ever met in my real life who was like a hardcore Swiftie.
Yeah. Well, I was just listening to your last episode, and you and Robert, which is, I met you through Robert, you got married literally like 3 months, I think, before I met Robert. I think I met him in December of 2014, and that is the exact time when I was getting into Taylor.
Okay. But didn't you see her on the Red Tour?
No, I saw her 1989 and Reputation.
Oh,
I'm so jealous.
And I had tickets to Loverfest.
Right. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
God.
And then didn't you have, you were one of those like amazing Eras Tour people who didn't get tickets originally. And then you got one of the, like, after the fact
lottery
invitations. And then you had what, third row on the floor?
Oh my God.
Yep.
Excuse me?
What was that like?
Yes, it was the Great War.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, the verified fan. I had the Loverfest tickets, which allegedly counted for something. In Reputation era, we had to watch Taylor eat cookie dough like 600 times. I did all that. So I was supposed to get like premium, like preferred access to tickets. And I was in constant communication with my friend Chrissy, who I went to the concert with. And she got in to buy tickets before me, even though she wasn't a verified fan.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like chaos. Everything you clicked on was gone when you tried to check out. She actually did manage to get 2 tickets, like the obstructed view, like behind the stage. We're like, we'll just buy them. We'll try again tomorrow, because we thought general sale was still going to happen.
Little did we know.
Little did we know. Yeah, it got canceled. And I was actually at work with Beard when all this one was happening.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, general sale got canceled, and we were like, I guess we're just like lucky to be in the building at this point.
Yeah.
And then a couple months later, I got an email that says, hey, we noticed you were a verified fan and you weren't able to get tickets, so we'll put your name in a lottery system and we'll email you. We'll charge your credit card if we have tickets. And they ended up being third row in, I think it was section B. So we were like right near the stage. She did the fearless twirl in front of my eyeballs.
Oh my gosh.
It was,
What did she look like that close?
I can't describe it because I'm like, oh, she's like real. She's a real person. Like you can see like, the texture of her skin, or that she has like a birthmark there. And I'm like, I forget that you're like not just like a mythical figure.
Right. A fairy we all just watch on the stage.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, okay, she's real. She looks like every video you've ever seen of her. She's exactly like you think she would be in person.
Yeah.
Literally iconic. Can you give us your Swiftie backstory? So I know it started in like 2014, but what got you really into Taylor?
Yes, my villain origin story. I'm actually kind of like a mix between you and Sara, because I've listened to both of yours. You've shared both of yours on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like 2008 love story, like I'm too cool for school.
I know that feeling.
I'm like emo, like this, you know. Then I'm like into indie music, Taylor Swift's lame, blah, blah, blah. I was all on that bandwagon. And then it was 22 came out when I was 22. So I'd hear it on the radio and I'm like, 22. Like, it was just like a fun song on the radio. And I was like, okay, like, I liked the Martin and Shellback Red singles. And then right before Shake It Off came out, she walked out of her New York apartment with her cat in her hand. Famous photo. And I was like, that's goals. That is goals. I like this person. And I'm like, she has some really cute outfits lately. Because it was like her, like Oscar de la Renta after the gym era.
Okay, yes.
So I'm like looking at her street style outfits. And then I'm like, you know what? Who did she date? Because everyone talks about her ex-boyfriends and blah, blah, blah. And that just like, I just fell down the rabbit hole of this and like the lyric that she would write down her arm during the Speak Now tour and like the Easter eggs and when she used to write the hidden messages in the lyrics. And I was just like, just fell
I'm
down the rabbit
sold.
hole. Yep.
Yeah.
I was all about it. And then Shake It Off came out not far after that. And I had the same reaction as you, Laura. I was just like, I'm not into this. I can't really admit that I like this.
Yeah.
But then also at the same time, I was going through a really bad breakup and then 1989 came out and it was just like the soundtrack to my life. So I just listened to that CD like a bajillion times over. And then I think a couple months later for my birthday, my friend bought me all of her back catalog, like all her CDs. So it was just like in my brain then. So that was my villain origin story.
Wow.
So
I was like actually, I was actually a Swiftie before you, but I think you dove in harder.
Deeper, yes.
Yeah, because I mean
the hyper focus takes over.
Whee!
Exactly. Yeah, that's awesome.
That.
So then, by the time Reputation came out, were you like all about it?
Oh yeah. I mean, see, I went to the 1989 tour. I had missed like, I bought the tickets off of like StubHub or something for like $100 and I was on the field. The good old days. Wow. And I bought them like 2 weeks before the concert.
Wow.
And it never will be again.
Never again.
Never again.
Wow. But yeah, Reputation tour. She had the B stages.
Oh my God.
And I was like right in front of the B stage.
Yeah.
And I was there the night that her basket thing malfunctioned. And she was supposed to do like half the show on the B stage, like in front of my eyes. And she never made it over. Like the basket went up and it came down. And she like stalled and sang a couple songs like a cappella. Then she like went across the stage to our other basket, went to the other B stage and did the whole half of the show. I was so upset. I just had this like feeling in the pit of my stomach like when I left. And then, of course, everyone knew how excited I was for it. So I had to feel all, how was the show?
It was great.
And I'm like, it was awesome. Just like so heartbroken about it. But
yeah,
I think the Eras tour
made up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
Karma.
Yeah, that was your karma.
Yeah.
That's
Love
awesome.
that.
All right. So then we asked you to figure out what your Sun, Moon, and Rising albums are.
Yes. Okay. So I am a Taurus sun, and I'm going to go with Reputation. I think, honestly, like, could ask this question to anyone, and somehow anyone would be like, I'm Reputation, because I think everyone just wants to be Reputation.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's the like holding a grudge. There's like, look what you made me do, like the bougie in the diamonds, kind of over the top part about it. But really, underneath the surface is like the loyalty, the love story. So I'm gonna say that's Taurus.
Yeah, we get it. We get
Well,
it.
also, when I met you, you had your hair.
Oh,
Where
yes.
it was like half like black, half bleached.
Yes.
And I feel like that's very
Yeah.
reputation
It's
coded.
like a two-sided album. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Also, that's my favorite merch aesthetic she's ever had. So I own the most like merch from that era. Yeah, it's a little punky, a little edgy, whatever that. So then my rising sign, I'm kind of between two albums for this one. I'm a Leo rising.
Okay.
So my first instinct is to say 1989, just because I love that album. And that was like one of the heights of her fame. And she had so much attention back then. And everything was really like sparkly. But in terms of it really being like Leo coded, I think that's more of like an emotional like water sign album. So my other choice would be like Speak Now.
Okay.
Because I think that's more fire sign. It's outspoken, a little stubborn. And she has like the lion's mane of hair still in that album.
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
And my moon sign is Virgo. And I'm going with folklore because I'm actually just very sensitive and depressed.
All of this tracks for you. Like
I love it.
Like you're also like your astrological signs. This makes a lot of sense for you.
Yeah.
I love it.
Also, can I say, I'm in here with the litter box. She dropped one, and I have been dealing with this distraction. So I'm going to Febreze the room for a second. Because, like, she saved that one for when I got home.
Also, please tell the listeners what the name of your cat.
Yeah, please.
Oh, it's Heidi Applebottom.
So good.
She was a foster fail, and they tried to give me kittens with fleas. I was like, absolutely not. And then they're like, okay, we might have another cat for you. And they sent me a picture, and I spoke with the person who was fostering them. They're like, she's a little chunky. And I was like,
just the type.
Yes. So yeah, how can you change that name?
No, that's iconic. That's like, that is her name.
That's, that's her Jellicle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Taylor would approve of all of this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
For sure.
I think like when the lineup of Taylor's cats and then you add Heidi Applebottom, it makes sense.
They'd be friends.
Yeah, they'd be friends. Oh my God. So we're having you on today, Rebecca, because you wrote in, I think in one of our earliest episodes, we were talking about Coney Island and how I was just like geeking out about how we should do a whole episode on Coney Island. And my girl came through with receipts and emailed a like deep dive of all the things that I was like, yes.
I love that also that Rebecca sent us this email, didn't sign it, but it says it's like, it comes through Gmail as like Rebecca. So I texted her, I was like, did you send us an email? And she was like, who else would be psychotic enough to write that email?
Email. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like, well, you have to be our first guest and we have to talk about Coney Island.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah. I am the psychotic email sender of Taylor Swift. Someone was doing like a Taylor Swift like Eras Tour pep rally day, and they are not really like a fan. So my friend asked me like, can you help her out? And I wrote a 17-page guide breaking down every era.
Yeah.
And what they could do and decorations and games and shit. So yes.
It's
me that sent the email.
Yeah. What
We
that
get it.
reminds me, my mom has been listening. Hi, mom, because of course she's very supportive, but doesn't know what we're talking about half the time. And she told me the other day, she was like, "Yeah, I think I'm all caught up," and she basically was like, "I'm worried about you." like, like she was like, "You and Laura spend way too much energy thinking about Taylor Swift." I was like, "Mom,
Welcome.
you don't even know." And
Welcome.
also, there are so many people just like us who are going to listen to this podcast and feel very at home. I was
There
also
are
like,
people way more dedicated also.
"Oh yeah."
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
"This is basically the one thing that gives me serotonin." So I'm
Yes.
going to keep doing
Let
it.
me have it.
Yeah.
Let me have it.
Actually,
Let me collect all the editions of the vinyl I'm never going to listen to. Just let
literally Sara today.
me
today I impulse bought the Black Dog edition of Tortured Poets,
Mm-hmm.
and I do not own a record player yet.
Same. Do I have like 8 copies of Folklore? Yeah. Do I have a turntable?
No.
Nope.
Oh, so you never even bought one though? I thought you would have one by now.
I had one at my parents' house. It was my dad's old turntable. But when I moved, I didn't have room for it.
Yeah.
But I also live in a very small apartment, so I just don't have room for anything.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where I'm like, I haven't opened it yet. So now I'm like,
oh, now
I can't open it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You should though, once you have one.
I used to feel like kind of glad that I didn't have a record player, and I was like, I don't really know where I would put it, how I would use it. And I'm glad I don't have the desire to buy the vinyls. And then today something just happened and I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to buy this.
The screws came out of the hinge. And you were
but now I'm like, well, now I got to buy all the other ones. Like the other albums that are already out. But
my collector, like
when Reputation TV drops, I am pre-ordering that thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Do you know how much I regret not having the money at the time to order Reputation on vinyl when it came out? You can't find it anywhere.
I was going to say, where do you even find that?
You can't.
That makes sense.
You cannot.
If anything, they're collector's items, ladies. Okay? Not that I would ever part with mine, but just saying.
Yeah. That my collection addiction started with the CD singles in my early like Swiftie days. Yeah. And they would be like, $20 a piece. And I would ask for them for like my birthday. And my dad's like, I'm not spending $20 on a CD single. And now they're like $100 a piece.
Right.
Wow,
I know an investment when I see one.
Right.
Yeah. Truly.
We do what we got to do.
I was I was visiting my brother, and he got engaged this past weekend.
Congrats.
And thank you. Got a sister-in-law on deck. But her friends were at this big party to celebrate, and they know that we have this podcast, and God bless my future sister-in-law, because she literally the first day launched was like, I'm not a Swiftie, but I listened to your first couple episodes and it's really fun just to like talk about it. And I was just like, listen, if you want to dive into the like world of Taylor Swift, there's no better fandom ever.
Oh yeah.
Like a deep well of information and joy awaits you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's so funny because this week my former / forever sister-in-law, Caitlin, texted me that she's starting on her Swiftie journey and she's starting with Evermore.
Ooh.
So it was like
Taste.
Very good choice.
Taste.
Yeah. And I told her that we were doing a
yeah.
Coney Island episode. So,
Excellent
I'm excited
choice.
for that. Yeah. Speaking of, okay, so let's talk about Coney Island and then we'll like get into the deep dive of it all. So obviously Coney Island as on Evermore, it was released in December of 2020, a surprise album. Literally just hello guys. I have extra songs and I decided to make it a whole album. Here it is. And it was written with Aaron Dessner and Bryce Dessner, who is Aaron's twin brother, also a member of the National, with Aaron, and William Bowery is a co-writer,
AKA Joe Alwyn, the now
Allegedly.
ex-boyfriend.
allegedly, because there
Allegedly.
are
Conspiracy theories.
yes. Should we dive into that before we go on?
Wait, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
People think that William Bowery is not Joe Alwyn.
Not Joe?
Yeah.
Some people claim it's Diana Agron.
No.
I have not heard that.
That is okay. That's
a reach.
That's a reach. But they do claim that Joe, although he may have written a couple piano lines, definitely got like written onto a few of these songs as a
favor?
A favor, a stamp of approval, and he got a Grammy out of it. So interesting.
Okay.
Anyway, but Taylor has said that William Bowery is Joe, so we can go along with that.
Yeah.
But there
I
are
think it's
conspiracies.
Joe. She was writing these with him in quarantine. Like, she wasn't like calling up Diana Agron during COVID. It was like, hey, write a song with me over Zoom.
Oh, I don't think the Diana thing's real. But
Yeah,
what I
no.
will say is, I do think that, like, I mean, was Joe writing Coney Island? No. I'm going to say he wrote like a couple lines.
Yeah.
Like,
Or like in the Evermore, he wrote like the piano line.
right. There's some collaboration,
Right.
but like, this is not Joe's song.
If she had to give writing credit to Right Said Fred for Look What You Made Me Do, like, we see how little you have to contribute to be credited as a writer.
Yeah.
So one thing that does make this song really special is that it's a duet with Matt Berninger of the National. And is that her only duet on? No, she has Cowboy Like Me with
Marcus
his face?
Mumford, but
And
she has
then- and then
she has
Evermore.
Evermore with Bon Iver.
right.
Oh, and
loves
she
to
has
have male
Nobody No
duets.
Crime with.
Oh, there's a
Tiny.
lot.
Hello.
There's a lot of collabs
Hold
on
on.
Evermore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love Matt Berninger's voice on this. Like, I just love Matt Berninger, period. But it's so, like, the tone of his voice in correspondence with the, like, tone of this song is, like, match made in heaven. Anyway, we can talk about that later. Should we talk about our personal associations with this song?
Yeah. Well,
So,
let's have Rebecca start.
yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
All right. Well, Laura, why don't you go
I'll share
first?
mine. Yeah, I'll share
Okay.
yeah.
So, like, when I first listened to Evermore, I can't say that Coney Island was, like, the standout song to me initially, but I have had multiple moments with this song where I'm like, damn. So I specifically had this very, like, sad, nostalgic drive through my college town. And this song was on in the background, and it was raining, and it was just like the vibes were right. And this song had me literally spiraling through like my ex-boyfriends and relationships and experiences that I had in college while I'm driving through college. It was very strange. And the tone of this song is just so riddled in like deep sadness that I was like, okay, this is a lot. But I've had multiple moments since then where it just gets me in this like very memory filled / not regret, but just like rehashing old experiences type of vibe. So that's my personal association with it. So.
Okay. Well, for me, honestly, I don't have much of anything. Like, I don't know what it is about this song. Like, when I first heard the album Evermore, this one was like kind of a skip for me. Not that I actually skipped it, most of the time. Bottom rack on the album for me. And it has since grown, but I'm still just kind of like, yeah, okay. But I also think this is the kind of song that, because I know it's a great song. I know it's very well written. It's beautiful, all these things. It just doesn't hit me yet in a specific way. But watch like 3 years from now, I'll be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
That's probably what will happen.
That does happen.
I think, yeah, that's happened to me with Taylor songs before. I mean, August, everyone was freaking the fuck out about August. And I was like, there's better songs in that album. But then, like, events happen in your life and you're like, all right. But, well, events happen in your life and then you're like, oh, this is the soundtrack to my life. This is the best song I've ever heard.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now I would say that's probably top 3 on Folklore for me. But, like, when it came out, I was like, oh, that's not... Why is everyone freaking out about this?
Yeah.
And then it hits you and you're like, oh, this is the best song ever written.
Yeah. So did you connect with Coney Island right away, or was this a sleeper hit for you?
The song specifically, no, not in any, a specific instance like Laura, but just in general, having the National. I'm assuming that Joe introduced Taylor to the National because that's really when she had never referenced them before, even on like Lyrics in Her Arm, or we knew she was a fan of the 1975 or something, but she only really referenced the National like post Joe. So I'm assuming that he introduced her. And my ex-boyfriend, who I dated around the same number of years as Joe Alwyn, introduced me to the National. That was his favorite band. We saw the National together. And then a month after we broke up, Folklore came out. And I got him into Taylor Swift. So the National and Taylor Swift, she did that specifically for me.
Yeah.
She wrote like, this album is for Rebecca Schlauch, and like put that into the world specifically for me.
Yeah.
I love that.
So then to have, 2 Taylor X the National albums, and especially his voice is just
That's intense.
So heartbreaking. Yeah.
But yeah, actually that reminds me how you and I were going through like breakup stuff at the same time. Because for me, Folklore came out like 3 weeks after Robert, my ex-husband, moved out of our house. So that's why Folklore for me is like so intensely emotionally tied to that time in my life and everything.
Yeah, I remember texting you during that time, and you were like, I really needed this.
Yeah, we were both like, thank you, Taylor.
Thank
like,
you.
If there was ever a time to cry to Taylor Swift music, it was July of 2020.
Yes.
So
Reason to Live, like, re-upped.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but that's crazy that your ex also introduced you to the National, and then
he has a
crossover.
National tattoo. Like, yes.
Wow,
so this was very much like, and he was, my Joe. Like, he's the guy I thought I was really going to end up with. Yeah. So for that, she knows. She was like, Rebecca, this is for Rebecca. Specifically for me.
Do you have a Taylor Swift tattoo?
I mean, I have 13s.
Multiple?
Yeah, I have 2, like, Friday the 13th tattoos, but they're...
Oh, okay.
I have been thinking about the sleeve.
Ooh.
But
it's such a big decision.
Like a Taylor Swift sleeve or just a sleeve? A Taylor sleeve.
Love it.
A Taylor sleeve, yeah.
Do you ever wonder, though, like, say you get a Taylor sleeve or just a single tattoo, and then what if one day she murders someone, truly canceled?
Yes, because my favorite band used to be Brand New.
Oh
yeah. Yep.
Well, we have similar tastes. That was, yeah.
I mean, Jessie, that was my Taylor Swift for so long. Yep. So glad I didn't get like a DeGosser tattoo.
Yikes.
Yeah. I know, like, a girl who has like the whole Deja cover as like a half sleeve.
But that makes sense. Like, at the time, they were like everywhere. Everything.
They were everything to everyone. Yeah.
God. I do have to say, something that just reminded me about you talking about your boyfriend and stuff, ex-boyfriend. one thing that stands out to me about Taylor's early records is that I deeply got the sense, especially in Red, that Jake Gyllenhaal and other boyfriends might have been calling her music kind of lame, because with some indie record that's much cooler than mine comes to mind. Do you ever think about how Taylor literally made the indie record that was cooler than she could ever imagine? Like, she collaborated with The National.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
She made dad rock music.
yeah, she manifested
Like
that.
indie dad rock music.
Yeah, love it. Anyway, let's go Coney Island.
Okay.
Yeah. We could deep dive into
I know.
the Rilo Kiley of it all.
Oh, yes. See, now, finally. All right, love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Coney Island, some history about what Coney Island is. Close to Manhattan. And it was created to create a proper vacation spot in like 1830. And it had carriage roads and steamship services that reduced the travel time to like a half day, which made people want to come. And then between 1880 and World War II, it was the largest amusement park in the U.S. It had like 3 amusement parks. So I've never been to Coney Island. I don't know what it's like today, but it used to have 3 components: Luna Park, Dreamland, and Steeplechase Park. And it had like the first electric lights and roller coasters and like new innovations. And then by the first decade of the 20th century, it was seen as like the symbol of America's pride. Like, it became the all-American amusement park, basically. So I was interested, like, what Taylor's connection was to Coney Island. And she explained in an Apple Music interview that she chose Coney Island because it's a place where thrills were once sought, a place where it was once all electricity and magic, and now the lights are out and you're looking at it thinking, what did I do? Which is kind of amazing.
Yeah. She turns life into poetry.
Yeah.
As Travis might say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or as Travis was maybe told to say.
I have been to Coney Island twice. And one time was like a very last minute, spontaneous, like at midnight, we're like, let's drive to Coney Island. Which was a mistake. Because then we got there and it was like 6 a.m. and nothing was open.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bad time. Long story short, it was a bad time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I can see, like, if it's not alive, like, it is kind of depressing.
Right. Like, once all the lights are dimmed, it's just this kind of like hollow, old-timey
shell of itself.
Right.
But isn't it kind of always like that? Like,
I don't know.
It reminded me of, like,
Coney Island. I feel like it's kind of been like, it's considered something that once was, and now it's just like run down and like a has-been kind of place.
Yeah. It definitely reminded me of like the Jersey Shore boardwalk, but like not as good.
Right.
Because
like
it was
symbolic of a time where it was everything, but now it's sort of just like a shell, like you said, a shell of itself.
Which I think is also probably why she chose it for this song.
Right.
Because you're thinking of like a relationship that once was magical and electric and all these things, and now it's just kind of like run down and dead and not working anymore.
I have to go into a deep dive really quick about something else she said in this Apple Music interview. She said that when she and like Matt were writing these lyrics, Matt's lyrics were supposed to be a male perspective of regret or guilt after a lifetime of a pattern of behavior, which made me think, like, okay, is this like a 2-person perspective story, or is this Taylor creating a world where she's reflecting and spiraling and imagining her like ex-lover acknowledging this lifetime pattern of behavior, Joe or / other boyfriends, right? And she's mentioned multiple times that she's like literally teaching men how to apologize. And I'm like, is this her spinning the narrative, and like Matt's lines are a reflection of what she wishes men would say or would acknowledge? Or is it the male perspective like chiming in with her? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. But
I mean, pattern of behavior, that doesn't have to be one person. It could just be like men, capital M, men, pattern
Right.
of like shitty behavior.
but
She
also how
said,
much of it is also about her patterns of behavior and
true.
things she needs to apologize for.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting if you're going to have like a male female duet, like what each person symbolizes. Like, is it two different perspectives or is it one shared perspective with like a different voice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think like a male perspective of regret and guilt, like, is that something she never got and she wished that she had and she's writing about it, you know?
Right.
Um, anyway, that like had my wheels like going crazy. I was like, wait,
Well,
she
also,
literally said she's trying to teach men how to apologize. Like,
well, in preparing for this episode, it also really had me thinking about the fact that she and Joe are now broken up and they worked on this song together. It's like, I'm trying to picture the two of them writing a song and being like, hey, you know how we had that fight last week and like how we like almost broke up and we're working on this stuff and like maybe this relationship we're in is kind of like dying. Like, let's write a song about that together. Like, that's kind of how I'm picturing it because they wrote all these sad songs about
yeah.
relationships ending
Like
My take,
couples
together.
therapy.
Yeah.
yeah. My take is
Yeah.
that Joe probably listens to sad music, as does
Mm-hmm.
Taylor. And I think like when you listen to sad music, you're more likely to make sad music.
Mm.
But there's definitely some like truths that come out in songwriting, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Um, when she was
I mean,
writing,
how much did he really? He could have just come up with like, I'm sitting on a bench in Coney Island. That's it. That could be like the whole thing. And then
Yeah.
she took
that's
that and
true.
fucking ran with it.
That's true. That is
Right.
true.
She's like, ooh, I like that, how that sounds. How can I make this into a whole thing?
Yeah.
I don't think they sat down at the piano and banged out every lyric together.
I
Yeah.
also like we know that she's collaborated with Aaron Dessner a lot. Like maybe this was more of like a collaboration between the two of them and Joe like hopped like you said, like hopped in on a
Mm-hmm.
line or something.
Mm-hmm.
But Evermore, I didn't know this, but Evermore, she was supposed to have Closure and Dorothea for Big Red Machine. But then they ended up being on Evermore. And then like the two of them were collaborating on basically every song except Gold Rush on Evermore, right?
Which is
And
hilarious to me because Gold Rush is one of my favorites on Evermore
you're a
because
Jack
I'm
stan.
a Jack girly.
Yeah.
I do. I love the Jack songs. I love the Aaron songs too, but I'm a definitely a Jack person.
I'm the opposite. Like, my favorite song on Midnights is Would've, Could've, Should've.
Oh, well,
Everything else I can like
honestly,
leave behind.
Would've, Could've, Should've is maybe my favorite song as well
Yeah.
on Midnights. But in terms of like the folklore Evermore stuff, it's always the Jack stuff that hits me the hardest.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
think I'm so happy that Aaron's involved in the like world of Taylor's
Swift
songwriting
verse.
though.
Yeah.
Right. I think it adds something special, like because you can acknowledge that, like, oh, this is definitely Jack's influence. This is definitely
Yeah.
like Aaron's
I love when the
influence.
three of them work together.
Yeah.
I
The
also
three of
love,
them did Hits Different and You're Losing Me.
mm,
Oh,
So,
two of my favorites.
yeah.
mm-hmm.
I also feel like Jack, he really leans into what the artist wants and he never edits, maybe. He's just like, oh, you want that? I can make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
When I feel like Aaron Dessner, the National, they have like a very specific sound
Yeah, that's
that
true.
she's forced, it like forces her to, broaden her horizons and like maybe do things that she wouldn't normally do and like follow her
Yeah.
own intuition in
Yeah.
the production aspect of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I keep like, you should see these notes, Rebecca. Like, I literally read a dissertation for this.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like,
Oh,
literally.
did you see that someone pointed out that there is a Coney Island in Cincinnati, which I believe is where the National are from?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
But since she specifically said like Coney Island, New York, I
Meh.
think that could just be a coincidence. Yeah.
Maybe. So one thing that I found interesting, and I think like this kind of symbolizes like Coney Island's tone to me, is that Taylor said that Evermore gave her this sort of like weird serenity after putting out Folklore, because like she said Folklore's main trope was conflict resolution and trying to figure out how to get through something to someone, okay? Whereas Evermore deals with endings of all sorts, sizes, and shapes, and the pain and various phases of those closures. So, like, I think Coney Island is like someone attempting to find closure or like some sort of ending upon many endings of various relationships. And I think that was like kind of the perfect like equality thing that's going on between Coney Island and Evermore, and that makes sense that this is on this album specifically. Which is
to
funny.
me, Coney Island, like, I get the image of her and the male voice, and this is what I mean with like Taylor's music, like paints pictures in your brain. I see the two of them sitting together on a bench in Coney Island, looking around, and they've already broken up, but then they're sitting there looking back on it and kind of doing like a debrief of the breakup. So yeah, in my mind, the relationship has already ended, and these two people have come back together with this understanding, like, yeah, it's over, and like, here's kind of what happened. So that's what I see in my mind.
A closure meeting.
Yeah.
So Rebecca, we're gonna like go verse by verse and do a deep dive. So I'm gonna start with the first verse, and then we can like unpack it, if that makes sense. Okay, here we go. Verse 1.
Break my soul in two, looking for you, but you're right here. If I can't relate to you any more, then who am I related to? And if this is the long haul, how'd we get here so soon? Did I close my fist around something delicate? Did I shatter you?
So good. I just want to say, like I said, this song has never like really grabbed me like other songs have. But again, that's like such a high bar. Like, so it's hard to say, you know, in the world of Taylor songs. But preparing for this episode and really looking at these lyrics harder, when you see the words of that whole first verse together, it's like every little like couplet of that is so good.
Yeah.
And she just comes out the gate with that and it's like, here's verse 1.
Verse 1. Yeah. Break my soul in two, looking for you, but you're right here.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Did I close my fist around something delicate? Did I shatter you? Yeah, you just shattered me. Thanks, Taylor.
Yeah. I think my second favorite lyric would probably be in there of, if I can't relate to you anymore, who am I related to?
Same.
Yeah. Deep.
Yeah. I just heard someone on a different podcast or something, they said that they think if I can't relate to you anymore, then who am I related to is her saddest lyric in her entire discography.
Yeah.
Truly.
Heartbreaking. It kind of, it reminds me of Now That I See Your Brother as My Brother. Kind of echoes back to that.
Yeah. In Peace, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I think, so, there's so many themes that are related between these albums, obviously. But,
right.
You know, did I close my fist around something delicate? If this is the man talking to Taylor, you know, it also reminds me of Sweet Nothings, like I'm just too soft for all of it.
Yeah, and then of course also just Delicate being a callback to her song Delicate.
Right.
It's just about, you know, Joe and reputation and everything. And yeah, it's just, she's just so good. What are we going to do? I don't know.
I mean, truly. So I'm going to play the chorus, which, here we go.
And I'm sitting on a bench in Coney Island, wondering where did my baby go? The fast times, the bright lights, the merry-go. Sorry for not making you my centerfold. Over and over, lost again with no surprises. Disappointments, close your eyes and it gets colder and colder when the sun goes down.
I just pieced together something right now.
What?
Lay it
Okay.
on us.
Okay, so like this lyricism that she mentioned about like how Coney Island, like at night, like it's just like a shell of itself, right? She's sitting on a bench at Coney Island, wondering where did my baby go? We get that, okay? Where did you go? You're here, but you're not here. First lyric, okay? Fast times, the bright lights, the merry-go. This is like another double entendre for merry-go-round. She's saying it's the fast times, it's the bright lights, the merry, like the people who are merry go here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she's playing on merry-go-round.
Also, could it be a
you-
triple entendre for marry, like the ring, merry-go?
Could be.
Because then
Yeah.
we talk about not winning you an arcade ring.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it so
Ooh.
much.
Yeah. You're losing me vibes.
Yeah.
Free, you're losing me.
Early.
Yes.
Early. Yeah. So the word centerfold kills me because, like, obviously, like, this centerfold of a magazine is like the priority image, correct? Like,
Yeah. It also it makes me think of Playboy magazine.
right. I'm thinking, like, what are we looking at?
Right. Yeah, but yeah, sorry for not making you my centerfold. It does seem like she's saying, I'm sorry for not making you more of a priority, I guess.
I'm sorry for not giving up my fame.
Yeah, not
Right.
making
with
you
you.
the center
See,
of my whole
I
world.
just- I know she said she's writing it from this male perspective, but there's so much of it that is Taylor talking to
To the person.
her male counterpart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So the next verse is when Matt joins in. So I still agree. When I hear this next verse, I still think it's coming from
From Taylor's mind.
brain. So
Yeah.
wait, let's
Yeah.
listen to
Even
that.
the first verse, yeah.
Right.
The question pounds my head. What's a lifetime of achievement?
I'm gonna pause there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because who else would be saying that?
Not Joe Alwyn.
Sorry to this man, but there's no way Joe Alwyn, or honestly, like anyone else she's dated, would be saying, what's a lifetime of achievement? That's
Yeah.
Taylor.
Period.
Yeah. or is that like a snarky comment from a person like Joe?
Well, that's true because aren't
Like,
the
what's a
Yeah,
lifetime
some people
achievement.
say that they
Aren't the
read these
lyrics-
lines as sarcastic.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, 'cause
sorry
that
for not
lyric
making you my
has
centerfold.
quotes around it. The question pounds my head. What's a lifetime of achievement? Meaning, like someone asked her that, right?
Oh my God! I made another connection right now. Okay, wait. Next verse. Hold on.
Okay.
If I pushed you to the edge, but you were too polite to leave me.
It's giving pathological people pleaser. Okay, you were too polite to leave me. I pushed you to the edge, but you're too polite to leave me. You pathological people pleaser. You're not willing to do the hard work. Like, so if that is a snarky, sarcastic, male perspective side, calling out her people pleasing tendencies, like you're too polite to leave me. You're too focused on other things. What's a lifetime of achievement? Like, psh.
Well, but see, I have a hard time reading this song as being sarcastic.
I agree.
It just, the tone of it doesn't feel like sarcasm to me. Like the question pounds my head, what's a lifetime of achievement? So if that's her partner saying that, that's what I'm trying to figure out, like, what does that mean in this instance? But then I pushed you to the edge, but you were too polite to leave me. I don't know. It's like they were testing her.
Yeah. It
They were
just is so
testing her and-
Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it harks back to peace. Like, she won't give up her, you know, her fame, her career for this
Yeah.
man. I will never be able to give you peace. And I know that, but I'm still not going to, she's still not going to leave him because she loves
Right.
him.
Yeah.
Right. And then here next couplet here.
Do you miss the rogue who coaxed you into paradise and left you there?
Pausing there.
Mm-hmm.
Iconic.
That's my
wordplay.
Starbucks lovers, yeah.
Well, yeah. So you thought she was saying roller coaster there.
I had no idea what she was saying. I was like, do you miss the roller coaster? Also, can we point out the melody of that goes like this?
Oh.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Fucking genius.
So good.
Oh my God.
Do you miss the rogue who coaxed you into paradise and left you there?
Yeah.
And also, did she phrase it that way to make it sound like roller coaster on purpose?
For sure.
You don't need to
For
save
sure.
me, but will you run away with me?
Ah!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, but also, it's like, if this is from Taylor's perspective, if she is talking to Joe, she pulled him into this paradise of her life, but has now left him there. And she's still like going on and doing her things. And he wants her to stay there with her, like from what we've gathered, you know, he wants it to be the two of them. But she needs to keep going. And now he's stuck in this place that she brought him into.
Mm.
This is like this line is like the whole basis of Midnight's.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they got together when she went into hiding after the Kanye thing, and then there was the pandemic. So it was just them two.
Mm-hmm.
And now she wants to
get out.
Skedaddle.
And he wants to stay. And she's like leaving him behind.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last line here.
Okay.
Will you forgive my soul? You're too wise to trust me and too old to care.
You're too wise to trust me and too old to care.
This one also kind of breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Guys,
I feel like
we're going through it tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I have to play the next couple because this is like our mutual favorite lyric. So here we go.
Cause we were like the mall before the internet. It was the one place to be. The mischief, the gift wrapped suburban dreams.
Sorry for not winning you an arcade ring.
God.
Oh my God. Okay, so
Knife to the heart.
yeah. So we'll talk about it a little more later too, but like my favorite line of the whole song is because we were like the mall before the internet, it was the one place to be. Like just that.
First of all, we are one of the last generations to know what that is. Like,
yes.
So
yeah. And so the way I think about that, well, it also kind of reminds me of like I come back like a 90s trend or whatever, but that line to me is saying how like the mall before the internet, it was the one place to be. Being like there was nowhere else really to go. It was like the only place to go. It was the coolest spot. So relating it to this relationship, it was like the relationship felt like the only place you would want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It says we were like the mall before the internet. It was the one place to be. So also, at one time, this was all we wanted and all we needed. But now we have the internet and we have other things to go do. And it doesn't feel like that anymore.
And also this idea of like the suburban dream is like this beautiful idea of like white picket fence lifestyle, which I'm sure is very appealing to someone like Taylor, especially when she like went into hiding after the whole Kanye thing. Mm-hmm. And then like the actual reality of the suburban dream isn't really what she wanted. Like it's not really what it's all cracked up to be. It's like this gift wrapped pretty version of something that is not really what you think it is.
Yeah. And then like, sorry for not winning you an arcade ring. Like you said, Rebecca, but like, does that kind of refer to marriage and this whole suburban dream, which is very Midnight Rain from Midnights.
And I wouldn't marry me either.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I also read that line of sorry for not winning you an arcade ring is like, like Taylor continues to disappoint this person. Like it's the same as like, sorry for not making you my centerfold. It's like, I'm not giving you what you really wanted. Ooh, Heidi Applebottom makes an appearance. And yeah, just continuing to disappoint them, not thinking of them the way they want to be thought of, like not showing them the love that they need or meeting their needs.
Same idea as like, sorry for not making you my centerfold. Like, sorry I didn't give you everything you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the bridge of bridges. Okay.
This is like, the root of the email.
Let's do line by line because it's pretty long.
Okay, this is where I was like literally reading a dissertation. And I'll link it in the show notes if you're curious.
Yeah, I need to read this thing. I clicked on the link earlier today. I was like, whoa.
It was so good.
It's like 48 pages. Like someone went off.
Oh, like an actual dissertation.
It was like someone's actual thesis paper that they put online.
I will link it. You will love it. Okay, so here is the bridge of bridges.
Were you waiting at a road spot in the tree line by the gold clock? Did I leave you hanging every single day?
Okay.
Rebecca, tell us about the gold clock.
Okay. Now, there's theories about the gold clock because the basis of the bridge is that it goes chronologically through her major past relationships. We, as if I had anything to do with this, people think the gold clock could be either referencing like an old high school boyfriend, or it could be like a Taylor Lautner reference because they used to hang out in Nashville a lot. And I guess there is a gold clock on like a train station or something.
Yeah, you said
in Hendersonville?
In Franklin, Tennessee.
In Franklin, okay. Mm-hmm. Which I guess is where Taylor and Taylor were spotted. In Franklin, yeah, K squared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, no confirmation on what that is. Also, I think, we forget that she has artistic license sometime and can just be like, that sounds pretty. Maybe this was the line that Joe contributed. That's why we don't know it. Why we're like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a reference to like a past relationship of his. I don't know. The gold clock. Maybe it's Big Ben. Yeah. I don't fucking know.
Well, and if it's like, if it is the albums in order and this is referencing Fearless, then the gold clock makes it more obvious of a reference to Fearless because that's like
it's not only album. It's not only chronicling ex-boyfriends, it's also chronicling her albums, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so it's gold equals Fearless.
Yeah.
And then next
Tree Line, I guess, could be debut. It could count as debut.
True.
Yeah.
True. Mm. Okay.
But then Fearless wouldn't be Taylor. Oh wait, no.
No, that's Joe Jonas. Dear John was on Speak Now, so
But Today Was a Fairy Tale was technically in the Fearless era, and she was dating Taylor.
Oh yeah, that's from that movie that they did together.
Valentine's Day movie.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then the next one is.
Were you standing in the hallway with a big cake? Happy birthday, did I paint your bluest skies the darkest gray?
That's a double dip, okay? That's a double dip. Were you standing in the hallway with the big cake, happy birthday? We all know about her terrible 21st birthday. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to the cake.
Our birthday episode. Cake episode.
Yeah. Which is a shout out to The Moment I Knew, which I'll play really quickly. This is a long one.
You should have been here, and I would have been so happy.
twee fashion.
You have to like slow rock out to this song. So good.
Dude.
Sara.
Dude.
Oh, I love that. So yeah, that's
Jake.
about when asshole Jake Gyllenhaal didn't come to her 21st birthday party.
Yeah. So, were you standing in the hallway with a big cake happy birthday? No, you weren't. You weren't, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
And then, did I paint your bluest skies the darkest gray is a callback to John Mayer.
Dear John.
Dear John. So here's Dear John.
You paint me a blue sky, then go back and turn it to rain.
Wait for it. What a slay to put John Mayer's lines in that song.
Yeah.
I love it. I
She's
also hate that
so
it
petty.
took me
Yeah, I know.
I love
it
it.
probably took me like 5 to 7 years to realize that that song sounds like a John Mayer song. And I was a John Mayer fan before I was a Taylor Swift fan. And I was like, Sarah, what have you been doing with your life that you didn't realize this?
Oh my God. It's so good.
But I figured it out. It's all good now.
And then finally, I have to go back to the bridge because we had Gold Clock. We had Birthday Cake.
Which is Red, like the album Red.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh,
Bluest
Dear John.
Skies.
Yeah, that was on Speak Now. Okay, so.
oh, so those two are technically out of order.
Yeah.
Still.
Okay. Close though.
Yeah, close. And
Artistic
then we have,
license.
Yeah. And then we have.
The accident, the sight that flashed before me was your face.
But when I walked up to the podium, I think that I forgot to say your name.
Okay, another double dip.
Yeah.
She's going too fast.
Oh,
The accident.
the accident.
Infamous Harry Styles snowmobile accident.
Here we
Right.
go. What?
Let's keep going. Just keep playing that bridge.
Oh my God.
So good. Guys, Taylor is such a good artist.
I know.
And
I know.
also, we got Red Blood, White Snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, even
wait, that's
more.
in Is It Over Now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So another snowmobile reference.
Harry
Right.
Styles.
Harold.
Yeah, so that's the 1989. I guess like maybe the album thing is maybe just a byproduct of the fact that she's referencing old relationships, so it just automatically lines up.
Or the like known relationships during each album. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had, when I walked up to the podium, I think I forgot to say your name, Calvin Harris. I forgot that you existed, Calvin Harris.
Wasn't there also a thing though where Taylor forgot to say Joe's name in the thank you speech?
I don't know.
Or am I
don't think
making
so.
that up?
She like gushed over him at the Grammy Awards,
Yeah.
so I don't think so.
Well, this,
But-
I believe there were two possible references to what this line means. What came to my mind in relation to Calvin Harris is the Miss Americana documentary when, she wins the Grammy for 1989 Album of the Year. She gets up to the podium and that's all you wanted. That's all you wanted. And I realized that I had no one that I could call. But she's dating Calvin Harris at this time.
It's like, girl.
So what does that mean?
I'm sure
Yeah.
you've all seen the video of like the cake where he's like, we have a cake, and she's just like,
Yeah. 1 year anniversary.
She's like,
Yeah.
Well, and also on the album Lover, people think that her song I Forgot That You Existed is about Calvin Harris.
Yes.
So that kind of
And-
lines up with it too.
If anyone's like a karma truther, the Lost
We are.
album. Okay,
Yeah.
me too.
We are
We
total,
are.
we
Yeah.
are total karma truthers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bleachella, I'm so into it. That's where I think
need
all
the
the
Bleachella album.
that's where I think all the Calvin Harris songs, they just
Yeah.
went away. Also,
Yeah.
Getaway Car is, and original lyrics of Gorgeous. I got a boyfriend, he's older than us. I'm in the club, he's in the club doing I don't know what.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, also Calvin Harris didn't thank her when
Yes.
he won This Is What You Came For, which she wrote. So
Yes. Yeah, that's the second meaning of that lyric is
Yeah.
I walked up to the podium and I didn't.
Right.
And that was like even rumored at the time because I'm an ancient Swiftie and I remember back in the day, even then their breakup seemed to, it was speculated to be around the fact that they kept it a secret that she wrote that song, and then it got into the media that she wrote it, but it leaked, quote unquote. Oh, I have balloons.
Oh my gosh! Rebecca just had balloons. Wait, can I do it?
I think it's on your phone.
Oh my gosh, I've heard of that happening.
Do thumbs up.
Yeah, do thumbs up.
Yeah. See?
Oh my gosh, I got fireworks.
Nice.
Why don't I have it?
Wow. That is so funny. I thought you were doing some kind of wizardry because it looks like the balloons that come up for the Red Era, like in the Eras Tour movie.
That's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so it leaked to the media, and that was around the same time the Kanye thing and the Twitter fight, you know.
Yeah.
Have someone else to tear down, go after Katie, blah, blah, blah.
So by the time he was accepting the award for This Is What You Came For, was it actually public that she had written the song or just leaked? Like, was it confirmed by Taylor? Like, had people stopped using her pseudonym for that and just saying this was written by Calvin Harris and Taylor Swift and whoever else?
I don't know.
Because
we'll have to
if it
check.
wasn't, I feel like he's maybe a little justified in not mentioning her. But clearly she wanted
Clearly
him
it's
to.
struck a nerve, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
for
and
sure.
didn't she say she would never write songs for other people under a pseudonym ever again? Like she's always
Yes.
going to use her name.
Yes. As she should.
As she should.
As she should.
Yeah.
So literally, guys, there's so much to this song. If you do some lyrical analysis, like we got so much. The Bridge of Bridges, man, like genius.
Yeah.
It's giving, like, I remember thinking the bridge was genius when I listened to this, and I remember the bridge is genius. Well, all of her bridges are genius, obviously, but the other time I thought that was You're Losing Me, with like fighting and only your army, frontlines, don't you ignore me, I'm the best thing at this party. It's like these callbacks to like past lyrics in Midnights, and I was like, dude, she knows what she's doing here.
You're on your own,
Yeah.
kid.
Oh my
Totally.
god.
That's definitely like another chronological
Right.
reflective thing.
Yeah.
Genius.
Also, I think... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think a lot of this song, it's so hard to place whose perspective is, especially with two vocalists. But I think a lot of this is like Taylor's fear of another relationship ending, especially because she is so harshly criticized about like picking the wrong guy all the time. And like, oh, she just, there's so much of it's always her fault that the breakup happens.
She dumps them. She just writes songs to dump them.
Yeah. I literally saw like a hate comment the other day of like, she made a career out of picking the wrong guy. And it's like, yes, it's still the woman's fault when like a man treats a woman like shit. It's still her fault that she chose him.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Disgusting. But it's the guy that she thought she was going to spend the rest of her life with. And is this going to end up like every other relationship does? Or if we're, part of me thinks that like did I close my fist around something delicate? Did I shatter you? Also, we need to talk a little bit about Afterglow.
One of my favorites.
So you were saying in your last episode, like, you think Midnight's could have started writing that in like 2019.
Yeah.
But they've been fighting for a long time.
Yeah.
They've been having problems for a long time because fighting with a true love is like boxing with no gloves.
Mm-hmm.
They have had problems for a very long time.
Yeah. I often now, listening back to Lover, feel like there's this tinge of like proving to the world that their relationship is beautiful and perfect.
Yes.
Like it's a little like overwrought with like positive messaging about Joe. Do you know what I mean? And that always like makes me question a little bit, like, okay, like, but you're right about Afterglow. There's, I mean, we got a taste of that for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And she has the line in Afterglow, why'd I have to break what I love so much? She has, thought I had reason to attack, which we could talk about the Emma Laird of it all with that.
And
but
put you in jail for something you didn't
do.
Okay.
I think she, but obviously, you know, Swifties will, you know, Taylor can do no wrong in the relationship, but obviously that's not realistic.
Right.
So a lot of this in my head is like, did she, you know, have reason to attack? Did she close her fist around something delicate? She could never give him peace. She won't quit her career for this man. Like all of her faults in the relationship, and then am I doing the same thing to you that all of these men have done to me in the past? That's kind of how I read that bridge. Is like,
Also,
did I fail you in the same way that these men have failed me?
So it's interesting you say that, not to be like super music nerdy about this, but like it's a duet with like 0 harmonies. They sing in unison in octaves the entire way through. Like the time that they're together, they're singing like this. Okay. So like metaphorically,
yes.
They're
on the same page.
Yes. She's doing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
And that's also why I see this as like them debriefing after the relationship. It's like, here's what happened. Here's why it ended.
do you think they're sitting on Coney Island? Because another thing too that I heard in the background is this like repeated la fa like over again. Ding,
what?
ding, ding, ding. If you listen, the background is ba, 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 ba. And to me, that's like that like imagine like an annoying arcade game that's just like repeating the same song over and over again in the background.
Wait,
like,
do we have a clip of that? Is that in like a verse or in the chorus?
It's in like everything. Here, I'll play it.
Break my soul in two, looking for you, but you're right here.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. It's throughout like the entire song.
Yeah.
And I was like, are they atmospherically sitting at Coney Island, like hearing like the background noise of like these old worn out arcade games that are all turning off and like, do you know what I mean?
What's the image for the lyric video?
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
This is why I brought my iPad. I knew I'd have to look
Please
something
tell
up
us.
eventually.
That is a good clue, though. It would be good to know that.
Yeah, what does she want us to imagine?
Yeah. Also, while you're doing that, not to be another music nerd thing, but it's written in A flat, which is like never used ever.
Honestly, Laura, I feel like that might be part of why I'm kind of like meh on this song, is that
the key sig.
Yeah, like it's just a little off. Like I'm like,
right. Well, actually, the chord progression in the intro never settles back to 1. So like it goes 1, 4, 5, 6, and it never goes back to 1, which is unsettling. Okay, so Coney Island.
Okay, it's a Ferris wheel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ferris wheel. The ground is wet. It is in grayscale.
Okay.
Vibes.
Which, if we want to get into her use of grayscale. Did you see what Taylor Nation posted today?
I
What?
did.
What?
The
She posted,
sister-
yeah, she posted a video of her from the Me music video talking to Benji saying, you're going to have two sisters. Another
Two.
use of the two. Okay, the balloons are back.
The balloons are back. Can we all get balloons?
I don't. Mine's not working.
That is, oh, I got some. I got some.
Why don't I get one?
I've got confetti now. Rebecca, this has never happened to us before.
The party don't start till I walk in.
I feel left out.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Sorry, Laura.
Sorry.
But yeah, two sisters. So I saw a comment that was like, oh, your two sisters are Folklore and Evermore. Because they're sister albums. Is this... Remember Woodvale?
Yeah, of course.
I'm
Is
a
this
Woodvale
Woodvale?
trooper.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I love imagining that she has like secret albums
Oh.
that we never will hear.
Well, that's what, like, we're not really going to know what this new album is going to sound like until we find out who her, like, production collaborators are.
We do.
Do we know?
Yeah. It's heavily influenced by, well, it's Jack and Aaron throughout the
Oh, it
entire
is?
thing. And then also Florence and the Machine. So
Ooh, okay.
it's giving like folky, electronic, I don't know.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Post Malone is doing like a country thing now.
Yeah.
So he could get all folky on that song. Which I'm so here for like a third folklore series.
Me too.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Me
Well, I
too.
really do think that Tortured Poets is going to be like folklore, but obviously personal. Like no veil of being like, these are fictional stories about characters I made up. It's like,
And
okay.
the more I think about the idea of it's not like a department, it's a department.
Mm-hmm.
The more I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also I was going to say that the lyric video having the Ferris wheel, it kind of is that like repeating cycle. What's the lyric? Male perspective of regret or guilt after a lifetime of a pattern of behavior.
Mm-hmm. The cycle.
So that's like, it's just a cycle that keeps going and going. And then also like what we're wondering, like, has Taylor now taken the role of her exes in her current relationship? And the cycle just
perpetuating
continues.
the cycle of
Yes.
I again say it's in unison. It echoes itself. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
good.
Also,
Okay.
you mentioned before, like, you know, the overt, like, Joe Rocks of Lover to, like, deflect.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, Folklore and Evermore, the whole, like, oh, it's made up shit is just, like, her covering for, you know, Evermore. Evermore's not a breakup album. It's about imaginary people.
Please.
And, yeah, I guess it's more of the same deflection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
But again, they wrote this song together. They also wrote Champagne Problems together.
Ish.
And
Ish.
Evermore,
He could have
like,
contributed, you know,
Yeah.
a line,
Yeah.
something
Right.
musically, and he had no idea what the lyrics would end up being.
yeah.
right.
I
Who
do think you're
knows?
right in that she's very giving in terms of like listing her collaborators. If he was anyway in the same room, he's going to have his name written on it. I don't know. I just generally, speaking of lyrics, can we choose our favorite lyrics? Which I know we're all in agreement
Yes.
on this one, and then give it a rating.
All right.
Okay.
Rebecca, do you want to go first?
All right. Since we're all going to say we were like them all before the internet, I'm going to pivot here and say,
Okay.
if I can't relate to you anymore, who am I related to?
Mm-hmm.
That just punched me in the gut.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is like when you're in a relationship for that long, you get to know the family, the siblings, the extended family, the cousins, and you see yourself as that is going to be your extended family, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, etc.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have the prospect of that future anymore, then like who
Right.
are you as a person? Like you have to refigure out your whole identity.
Yeah.
Damn, they've been fighting for a long ass time.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people speculate that they were very like on and off.
Yeah.
And this had to be like an off. Because just to be like, oh, we're not sure, but to be like, wow, I'm losing my entire future. And then writing this song. Anyway, 13 out of 10 lyric.
Truly.
Period.
Yeah.
A gut punch of a lyric,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
But
So,
what's your rating for this song?
Yeah.
Okay. On Evermore or in her whole discography?
The whole
It's
discography.
whole discography.
/
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So we were texting minutes before recording this because I had just heard that Laura gave Blank Space like a 7.8.
7.8.
7.8.
Okay. It's rounding up to 8. All right. But
And you know what? I pulled out an old notebook for you because I have attempted. You also spoke about Rolling Stone ranking all her songs.
yes.
Which is like aghast. I'm aghast when I read that list. But I have tried ranking. We've got every album up until Reputation, because this is from 2017.
I love that.
We've got Taylor Swift. We've got Fearless, Speak Now, etc. But then when she splits genres, then it's like, I think this is kind of why I stopped, because it's like it becomes then impossible. How do you put Cruel Summer up against Cowboy Like Me?
Right. Right.
How, like, I think I said it was, it's impossible to rank Taylor Swift songs because you have to pick between, like, do you love a really amazing pop song, or do you love being like emotionally terrorized more?
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
both.
Yeah.
But you
Depends
just
on
can't.
the day.
Yeah, it's so hard to put
It's also
her songs up against one another.
It's
Give
so
it a
hard to pick a
ranking
favorite
in-
album too,
Right,
for the
right.
same reason.
Yes.
Could you give it a ranking in Evermore / Folklore world?
Okay. It's going to be. Wow. I don't even know.
Look at you with the CD.
I know. She
Yeah.
wasn't joking.
I'm a millennial. We own CDs. This was when my car had a CD player.
Nice.
I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 in Evermore.
Okay.
Fair.
And
That's
I can
good.
tell you my top 3 off of Evermore if you want to know.
Please tell us
Please
right now.
do. Yeah.
Well,
Rip
since
them
you
off.
asked. Since you asked. Okay, Cowboy Like Me and Ivy, I think those are like arguably the best songs in her discography. And no one talks about them.
We
Oh,
talked
I
about this,
love Ivy.
and I love
Yeah.
Cowboy Like Me, and that was a sleeper hit for me. Like, it was a slow
Yeah.
burn. I wasn't into it. I skipped it, and I was like, okay,
That's like that's one that's going on the sleeve.
Yeah.
dude.
I
Forever is the sweetest con.
please.
Now you hang from my lips,
Like the Gardens
of Babylon. Get out of here.
Fuck. And people are like, she only talks about her ex-boy. Shut up. Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. And tell me what this song means, because I bet you don't fucking know.
Exactly. You tell him, Rebecca.
Please tell me what Ivy means, because honestly, I don't really get it either. There's so much debate. Is she dead? Is she
Oh my
alive?
gosh.
Is
I
she a
think she's
Victorian
dead.
ghost? Like,
I
who knows?
sent Laura a TikTok recently about the person singing Ivy, the
Your House
narrator,
of
The narrator.
Stone.
is dead.
Is dead.
And the House of Stone is their tombstone.
Yep.
There's so many ways to read Ivy. Oh,
Yep.
just wait until
Oh
that
yeah,
episode.
the Emily Dickinson of it all.
Yeah.
The gay lovers, the gaylers, which that's the whole.
Signed
Gotta
Evermore.
stop there before they come for us.
I know. We have to be careful,
Yeah.
although we have gone on record to say that we are both
You're
we both
gaylers.
identify as gay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We're soft gaylers.
we're soft gaylers.
I'm
we're
a byler.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of more what I
But to
mean.
say
when I
that
say
like
gay.
every
Or-
relationship of hers is a beard,
No.
nah.
No.
Just a couple.
We're a queer lore family here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for sure.
Wait, what was your
My
third
third one,
favorite?
"'Tis the Damn Season."
Oh,
That's her best Christmas song.
Evermore is a Christmas
It's
album.
a Christmas album. I'm gonna
For sure.
pretend the EP does not exist.
Listen, when I get my record player and then I have my Evermore album, it's gonna be in the Christmas music rotation.
Yeah. I wish she would stop trying to get her Mariah Carey. Because she wants All I Want for
Oh,
Christmas.
she-
She
What,
wants that.
You mean
She
Christmas
does.
Tree Farm isn't as good as All I Want for Christmas is You?
We're not. We won't speak of it.
yeah.
It's better
No, I
than
actually
what's
love
the one
Christmas
where
Tree
it's
Farm.
like the one on the EP that's like it's Jesus' birthday.
Oh, like, oh,
Please.
yeah.
we don't
Happy
speak about
birthday,
speak of
that.
Jesus.
Though
No.
if you would have
Speaking of
told
it.
me that she wrote Last Christmas, I would be like, yeah, that tracks.
Right.
That's such a Taylor Swift song.
Right.
Totally.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, if she would just give me a fucking Christmas album of Taylor Swift Christmas songs and not
Yeah.
Christmas songs by Taylor Swift.
right.
I
You
want
know what I
both.
mean?
I
want
want the Phoebe Bridgerification of Christmas
Yes.
in Taylor form.
Yes. Tear me
I
apart.
forget what that album's called.
That
but
might be
album's
too
really
intense for me.
good. What?
That
No.
Phoebe Bridger Christmas album, I kept like 2 of those songs on my Christmas playlist. The rest,
Well,
I was
that's
like,
because
whoa,
it's a Phoebe,
Phoebe.
Bridgers. It's a Phoebe Bridgersism. We need
Yeah.
the Taylorism of that, you know?
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too
Yeah.
much.
I loved Motion Sickness when I heard it on the radio. And then I went home and like put the album on. And then I got like 1 minute in and she was like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm not in the state to be listening
I
to
love
this.
her.
Yeah. She's just too, it's too,
It's too
I
much.
love sad shit. I'm an emo kid at heart. I'm a
I
sweemo.
know.
But
Yeah.
that,
Totally Sweemo.
yeah, I can't do
Yeah.
it. Can't do it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's good though. I love Phoebe forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so we always do the song as a recipe.
Wait, Laura, we didn't say our ratings and stuff.
Who cares about us?
It's the mall before the internet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the mall.
period.
It's and I mean that in addition to do you miss the rogue who coaxed you into paradise and left you there? In
Yeah.
that line, in that you
I mean, you
roller
could put
coaster
like
line.
any
Really?
little section of the song. But
Yeah.
Laura, what about your rating? What do you give it
I
out
gave
of
it
10?
8.5 out of 10.
8.5?
Yep.
All right, you guys ready for mine?
She's gonna say like 2.
6, yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna say like 2.
Well, I was going to say 6.5.
Okay.
But after this conversation, I'm going to bump it up to a 7.
Okay, fair.
I'm bumping it to a 7.
Yeah.
Fair. It's hard to give anything that's like okay, me is a 2.
Me's a 0.
Yeah.
We not, that's... It's like, I can't give you a 0, so I give you a 1.
Yeah. For real.
A 0.5.
It's just so
Yeah.
annoying because she writes so much better pop songs than that.
Yeah.
So
I stand
generic.
by the fact that like I don't like her singles. Like I don't like her singles.
Right.
This is
like-
the same album
Me is on
that
another
Cruel Summer was
level.
on.
I know. What were we doing?
She
We
thought
need-
that she had the summer of 2020 to make that her
Yeah.
hit. That would be hit.
Yeah. We need the folklorification of me.
Yes.
Or Midnights. We need different production.
Yeah, she worked with some
Different vibe.
random producer on that song.
The Lover album has some weird production.
It was
Yeah, I
This is-
agree. What's
Never
ironic
again.
is
That was rough.
that I was
Never
most
again.
open to Taylor during that time. So she
Yeah.
really sunk into my gut with Folklore and Evermore, but I was open to her at that time.
Yeah.
Anyway, song is a recipe. I said this song is stale cotton candy. Okay? It's nostalgic. It's the American dream, but it's ephemeral. You put it on your tongue, just like relationships, and they fade away. And also like it's not like it's sickly sweet because it's like stale and it's kind of like been out a little bit too long and you're like, okay, this isn't what I thought it was, which is kind of the tone of the song. So,
Well,
and
I said
Coney Island, you know.
I said a stale hot dog because Coney Island, I feel like they're like known for their hot dogs. It's like what you get when you walk around there. And to me, this song is like maybe you got a hot dog when you were visiting Coney Island earlier in the day, and then you stashed it in your pocket, and then you got home and then you microwaved it.
You got food poisoning.
Yeah. And
You
also
regret.
because this song
Yeah.
is like hot dog colored in my brain. So
Where'd you get that?
guys,
Ketchup, mustard, chili.
no, it's like just the hot dog
just
on
the
a bun.
hot dog part.
Just the hot dog on a bun. Like, and this is, guys, like maybe I have a little bit of synesthesia in this way, which like I think Taylor does too, which we'll also talk about at some point, I'm sure. But I mean, most of Evermore, the songs have the color of like her Evermore album, but this song specifically and Cowboy Like Me, to me, both those songs are hot dog colored in my brain.
What is a hot dog color? What do you mean by that?
Like a
Like
rusty...
the brown of a hot dog with like the lighter brown of a hot dog bun. Am I crazy? Guys,
Sure.
it's a hot dog.
I think it's because you're thinking of like hot dog.
Right.
Yeah,
But like
okay.
even still though, that's not like totally hot dog colored. But those songs specifically, Cowboy Like Me and Coney Island and Evermore a little bit too, are brown. They're brown songs.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll take it.
Sure, we'll go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a food that I just thought
What
of.
is it? Please tell us.
It's going to be a funnel cake that got left out in the rain.
Exactly.
They left it on the
that's
bench.
good.
They were going to share it, and then it got rained on. The plate's soggy. The funnel cake is soggy. All the powdered sugar kind of dissolved, and now it's just like a sticky mess.
Ooh, that's good. That
It's
also
left-
fits my color palette. It's also kind of hot dog colored.
Yeah.
I love it.
Soggy funnel cake. That's great.
Sad carnival food is the vibe.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Depressed
I didn't-
slushy.
Really? I did want to say in your email, you also answered a question that we had about Taylor's camera. So, you know, we all know Taylor has this very specific filter that she uses on all of her photos on Instagram that she like personal, not like, you know, not like the tour photos or anything like that, but like her personal photos are always using that filter. So that is like, can you explain that, what that is?
It's just a setting on her. Is it an Olympus or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said it's an Olympus OMD EM10.
Yeah, and
So it's a digital camera that looks like a film camera.
yeah, it does look. It's like very vintage looking. There's a bunch of like paparazzi shots I've seen of her holding the camera, like her and Hiddle Swift, like posing with it. And yeah, it's just like, it's called like Art Filter 1 or like something random. It's just like
So
a
the
preset
filter's
on her camera.
On the camera.
It
Yeah.
is so millennial.
Extremely.
Because I always thought it was like an Instagram filter.
Yeah, it
just
looks like
one
the
of
Nashville filter or like X Pro
Right.
or something.
Right.
Yeah. And you had you saw this on a TikTok, which you shared the link with us, so we can
We'll
put that
link
in our
that.
show notes.
This has been so fun.
Thank you for being our first guest.
You're welcome. Thank you for tolerating me. Tolerated was
tolerate you.
written about Rebecca, so
True.
We would tolerate you anytime, and we would love to have you on again for
Please.
another deep dive.
I would
For
love.
sure.
I yearn to yap,
Yeah.
especially when
We're
it comes to
yappers.
Taylor.
Yeah.
You're in good
Well,
company.
Would you like people to find you online?
Sure,
Okay.
I guess
Well, also, we should say that you are a stylist. That's your job, right?
I am,
Your
yeah.
day job.
yeah.
And you post a lot of really fun TikToks and reels and stuff of
Yes.
like your thrift store hauls and
Yes,
you
my
trying on cute
thrifted
outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You guys should follow her. So where can they find you online?
It's at Rebecca Schlauch on Instagram, but you're not going to be able to spell that. So it'll be in the show notes.
Yeah, Rebecca like blew our minds finally telling us
I
how
know,
to
we're
say her
like-
last name.
Yeah. People
Like, we've
go
been-
years and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's how you say it? When I finally
I
say
mean,
it out loud.
If I've known you for like 10 years and I have
Never
never
heard it.
even attempted to say your last name.
Yep. My friend just said that the other day. I said my last name in front of her, and I've known her since
You're like, what?
2016. And she's like, "Oh, is that how you say it?" So everyone just says it in their head, like Schlauch or Schulach or Schulach.
Yeah. So it's
yeah.
Schlauch.
Yes. And it means garden hose or inner tube in German.
Slippery like a plastic summer, whatever that lyric is. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. From Suburban Memories.
Yeah.
Or what's it called?
Suburban Legends.
Oh, that's a skip song for me.
I love that song.
All right.
It's the Midnightsification of the 1989 Vault.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Sizzling hot take.
Yeah.
But the old German translation of my last name was hill dweller that was fond of the spirit or something. So obviously that fell out of usage because it's an extremely specific definition. So I guess it was available when they invented inner tubes or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we close this up?
Let's close it out.
All right. Here we go. So, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Rebecca, for joining us today. And if you'd like to support the pod, you can give us a follow at Blank Plate Pod on TikTok and Instagram.
And you can check out our website at blankplatepodcast.com. And please send us an email, like Rebecca did, to our email at blankplatepod@gmail.com. And make them as unhinged and psychotic as you want, because we love it.
You might be on the pod.
Yeah. And you can leave us a voicemail at 717-382-8313 to share all of your Taylor thoughts with us.
Yeah. And until then, we've had the time of our lives with you.
And you know, it's time to go. So,
bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my God.